And then there were 7. That's right. A 7th person has now been arrested in connection with the federal charges of cyberstalking and witness tampering against a couple from Natick, Massachusetts, who ran the e-commerce Bytes website. Now, I have gone into this in large amounts of detail in prior videos. So if you want to get up to speed with that, I'll link to the original video at the end of this one. I'm not going to, recite all of that here. Eventually, I'll make a playlist on my channel where all this stuff is documented so you can find it all in one place. But I promise to provide updates, and I'm going to update you on this new development in the case, as well as an update on the new CEO speaking about this for the first time since the last time that I made a video about this. So we'll get to that a little bit later, but let me update you in terms of what came out of the Department of Justice on July 7th. Today is July 10th. So I'll share my screen here with you. This is a press release from them. And I'm not going to read this whole thing. Just want to focus on one part here just to get you introduced to it here. It says Philip Cook. Now, we have not heard this name before. 55 of San Jose, California. That's where eBay is headquartered. A former police captain in Santa Clara, California. Now, I'm going to stop here. You might say to yourself, wait a minute, a former police captain in Santa Clara, California? I thought there already was a former police captain in Santa Clara, California. Is that the same guy? No. This is someone completely different, and it's also another former police captain. So we have 2 former police captains in Santa Clara caught up in this. The other one was Brian Gilbert. Brian Gilbert was a senior manager at the special operations for eBay's global security team, and he was responsible for executive protection. So that's important because he had access to people at the executive level. He was in charge of helping out with security at big events, at special events, something like, I would suppose, something like eBay Open. And also he was responsible for, among other things, providing security for eBay's North American offices. Now, that's Brian Gilbert. Philip Cook was a supervisor of security operations at eBay's European and Asian offices. Yet he winds up getting caught up in this stuff on the North American side, which is interesting. But that is because Philip Cook and Brian Gilbert know each other. How do I know that? Well, if you just go online, you could even see an article that they penned together that was published in an online paper or periodical. So, and obviously they're connected through the Santa Clara Police Department. So it says he was charged by information with conspiracy to commit cyberstalking and conspiracy to tamper with witnesses. So the same charges that the other 2 executives were brought up on, and the other 4 former eBay employees. Now, it says Cook will appear in federal court in Boston at a later date. Now, when I first heard about this, my initial thought was, is this, or actually question and thought was, is this person somebody who was not even discussed in the charging document that I reviewed in a prior video, or is this one of the people who was given a code word in the document? Now, there weren't many people given a code word. In that document, there was someone named Executive 1 and Executive 2. We later found out through media reports who those people were. Executive 1 is Devin Wenig, former CEO and former president of eBay. And then executive number 2 was Stephen Weimer, a former communications director at eBay. So that only left one really other main person in the document, which would be the person who was called Supervisor 1. And it's interesting because Supervisor 1 was said to be communicating with Brian Gilbert. And so these pieces start to fall more into place better because, as you'll see here, you might have to actually get the document. I'll link to this particular document at the in the description section if you want to see it. But it actually says right here, I'll highlight it. It says the charging document, which is the one that I previously showed you and linked to, identified Cook as Supervisor 1. So now we know who this person is. And so, it's really a shame. I've done some research on, who these people were. And when I say it's a shame, it's like these people had good careers. I mean, from everything I could see, they've won awards and honors. I'm talking about the police captains here for a second. And, they could have led a life where they did a lot of great stuff. And it just takes doing one thing. And I'm going to emphasize these are allegations, of course, but it just takes one thing to just ruin everything for you. So I just mentioned that just as a, just a little reminder for people. Even if you've done 30 years of good or 25 years of good, just be careful with the decisions you're making, because you don't want one bad thing to undo all of that. You got to think through it. So now, what did Philip Cook allegedly do here? Well, it pretty much just kind of lumps him in with what everyone else was doing, specifically, planning to put these messages, into the, into the minds of the Natick couple, and to just make them increasingly disturbing over time. So that was something that it mentions that he was involved in here. It says, Cook and the other defendants allegedly discussed the possibility of presenting them of the police, by the way, with a false investigative lead to keep the police from discovering video evidence that could link to some of the deliveries to eBay employees. Now, I'm going to actually show you another article in a minute that talks a little bit more about that. So I went over to this article over here, which says, because you can't find everything that you want all in one document. You have to keep going to different sources and just read them all and see if you can find little new bits and pieces. So that's what I, try to do for you here, is try to bring all this stuff together, because this article, which came out of the Mercury News, which, as you can see, is the second ex-Santa Clara cop charged in the eBay cyberstalking case, says prosecutors say that Philip Cook approved of the creation of Twitter accounts used to threaten the creators of the online newsletter. So that gives you a little bit more specific information. If you remember, there were these, really threatening looking eBay accounts that were created with scary images on them. And then also, you remember that I mentioned that one of the Twitter accounts used a prominent eBay seller's name who had absolutely nothing to do with this. And the reason that was done was to create the impression to the Natick couple that there were, legitimate sellers in eBay who were upset about them. People who sold on eBay were really mad about what they were doing. And that just blows my mind, because, that's an innocent person's identity that was caught up in this for absolutely no reason. And so Gilbert and Cook would communicate with one another according to the allegations. And, that makes sense if, like we know that they knew each other. And now it says here, and in the and in other articles about this, that the city of Santa Clara has opened up investigations into both Brian Gilbert and into Philip Cook. Now, the Brian Gilbert one had already been opened up, so now they just opened another one up here just to see, and looking back, was there any history of wrongdoing by them in the department? So that'll be interesting, because not only do you now have the ongoing investigation going on within eBay, you now have, two separate but related investigations going on in the city of Santa Clara. So, it'll be interesting to see if that turns up anything. But let me get back into something in more detail I mentioned earlier, which is that Brian Gilbert and Philip Cook Philip Cook is supervisor number one, were said to be communicating about trying to throw off the police. And what this was related to was there was a gift card that was purchased by another person charged in the case, who was referred to as Ronnie, Ronnie Z. She bought these gift cards that purchased things that were sent to harass the couple in Natick. Well, where did she buy them? She bought them at a Safeway in Santa Clara. Now, I'm going to go over something here in this article that's quoted in the charging document. It says, An eBay employee only identified at the time as supervisor number one, who we now know again is Philip Cook, texted Gilbert to say, "Good plan and cover, Brian. Important to be convincing." Now, I'm going to stop here with the quote. This is with regards to Brian Gilbert talking about that he's going to communicate with the police in Natick. And so Philip Cook is saying to him, going back to the quote, "Brian, it's important to be convincing so they," referencing the Natick Police Department, "don't start looking to find video of who purchased the gift cards." Don't think they would go that far, but it's a little concerning. If I was the detective, I would ask you for a local PD context to go get the video. Might want to have a friendly in mind. A friendly. I love all these code words. A friendly. What's a friendly? When I think of friendlies, all I think of is going and getting a Reese's Pieces sundae, with a happy ending, over at the restaurant. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm not thinking of anything that these guys are talking about here. And so Gilbert knows exactly what he's talking about, according to the document. It says, he says, "I was thinking the same thing." This is Brian Gilbert speaking. "If they bring it up, I might volunteer to assist with that." And this is the part that really gets me very upset. "Then we could control the local cop and maybe provide a video from a different Santa Clara Safeway." Because what the Natick police would have wanted is they were trying to connect, this person, Veronica Z, or Zia, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, to see if they connected dots, because it was looking like she worked at eBay. And so there's stuff being purchased in Santa Clara, California. So they're trying to figure it out. And one way to figure it out is, to see if they could see her face on video making this purchase at the Safeway. Now, they had actually thought about this in advance. If you go back to the charging document, because they actually said she actually went in there with sort of a disguise. But still, maybe they would be able to figure something out, distinctive, piece of clothing, some distinctive, feature on a body. Who knows? They might be able to figure it out. They want to go and get the video. So what they're talking about here is like something you'd see in the movies where you actually like switch out the video clip. It's amazing. Like you would wonder, like, how does that phone call work? Like, how does that go? Like, you just pick up the phone. It's like, hey, it's Cap. "Hey, yeah, I was wondering, you remember that favor you owe me? Yeah, I said I'd call you. Yep. I'm parroting this, by the way, just so everyone knows. I'm wondering, could you, we've got this, these police officers in these little cities, they have nothing better to do. We've got this thing going on. Maybe I can't really talk to you about it. We got this thing going on. It's pretty high level. And these guys are poking around. They were places they don't really need to be poking around. And there's this Safeway, the one on 49th. Yeah. So listen, so what I need you to do, no big deal. Just all I want you to do, just get a different video clip. These guys are going to call you. I'll put you in touch with them. Just give them the video clip from the other Safeway. Make sure it has the same time. I'll give you all the details and all that kind of stuff. All right. Yeah. How the kids, by the way? How are they doing? Yeah. All right, listen, I really got to run. I got a lot of stuff going on here. So, like, is that how the phone call goes? Like, I don't know how this kind of stuff works behind the scenes, but it just sounds crazy. It just, plays to all the conspiracy theories. And, it's crazy that this stuff goes on behind the scenes. So, that's the update for now. I do have access to the docket. I have paid for this. So I have access. I am paying for access to all the reports, all the documents. Right now there's just a lot of administrative things going on in the case. But there's no other big kind of like breaking event or anything like that. So anything like that comes up, I will be monitoring and I will be updating you here on the channel about this. So let me go into the last part, because in the last video that I made, which was made 10 days after this story broke, I was critical that we had not yet heard of the CEO on this issue. Now, we had heard from Jordan Sweetnam on it, the vice president, or one of the vice presidents, and that was good. But still, I felt, and many of you did as well, feel that we needed to hear from the CEO on this issue. And I was, increasingly concerned the longer this went out that it was bad that it wasn't addressed. Now, I did know, and I mentioned this, that he was told that eBay sellers really wanted to hear from him. So little did I know, because I searched for this the night that I made the video, that at the same time I'm making this video, not this one here, but the prior video on this topic, he's actually speaking in a June seller check-in webinar. Now, after I heard this, and I'm going to play this in full for you in a minute, just the part where he speaks, which is at the end. By the way, so this is a 57-minute video, and he comes on towards the end. So this is at the 50-minute mark, a 50-minute and 56-second mark where he starts talking about this. So let me just play it. You can hear it, and then I'll comment a little bit on it afterwards. So let me just play it in full here. Whoops. Somehow I didn't get the audio coming through here. Hold on. Maybe this will work. All right, let's try it again.
That I addressed the news from last week. I think Jordan's talked about it with you, but the news regarding the indictment and the harassment is not representative of who this company is. It's completely unacceptable and wrong. The company moved really quickly once it found out the employees had done this to terminate them, to investigate how this happened, fully cooperating with the authorities. I personally sent a note to the victims in this case, apologizing for the awful things that they had to live through on behalf of the company. I also want to make it clear, just so you know, that we truly value your feedback, want it all the time. I was talking to Jordan about this, about how many features we had built because of great feedback from our community. And so we value it. It's how you make us better. It's how you inspire us of what technology and roadmap things we need to work on, or what policy things we need to look at. So we've spent a lot of time, and I know Jordan spent a lot of time making sure that you know how much we want your feedback, how valuable it is for the organization. So I just wanted to make sure that I hit that, because there's lots of you out there that are wondering how this happened. A lot of internal employees are thinking, how did that happen? And let me just tell you that the thousands of employees who give all of their time and effort and energy every single day to make this a better place, a better community, and put in all that hard work, really regret it as well. And what this small group of employees did. And so we're all here rooting for you, having your business succeed, leaning into the great tailwinds we have in the eBay business. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for your business. Thank you for letting me come on here today and spend some time with you. I value what you guys do for the business. And as Jordan knows, I can't wait to be able to do some more summits together and go live and go around the country and see some of you. I hopefully will recognize a lot of old faces from when I was here before and meet some new ones. But I could probably sit here for hours and tell you about features that we've built from and what kind of.
Okay, that's pretty much it. So again, the link will be down below if you want to see the whole thing, and I linked to it in a prior video. So it's good that he mentioned something, and before I even comment on it, let me just address the 0.1% of people who are going to send me a message telling me that eBay probably contacted me and asked me to put this video clip up. That is absolutely not true. They did not do that. They have no idea. They probably wish I would not make these videos, I would assume. But my channel is all about fairness. And I was critical that we had not heard from him. And my last video did say, where is the CEO? So I'm not going to then let it go in which he actually does speak and say something the night that I make that video and not play it and not show it for you. So it's all about being fair. You could judge it how you want. Put it in the comment section. If you're happy with what he said, let me know that. If you're not happy with what he said, let me know that as well. I mean, I think he covered all, pretty much the main basis that he had to check off there. I would have liked to hear a more explicit, or actually, just a direct and explicit statement that we are not, as content creators or anyone posting on social media about eBay, we are not going to face repercussions as long as we're not doing anything that's, breaking the law. But, besides that, we're okay and that we're safe, our accounts are safe, that type of thing. I mean, you could infer it based on what he said, but I would have liked to have heard that directly. So I'm glad that he spoke. I still think, it was 10 days too late. I think he should have spoke as soon as it happened. And I also think that it should have been more prominent. For example, I would like you to comment down below if you would have not seen this video if it was not for this YouTube channel or if it was not for my Facebook group, because I did mention it in my Facebook group. So if you would have not seen it otherwise, let me know that, because I think this speaks again to a communication issue with sellers. I mean, just look at the video, for example. It has 550 views. That's it. And also the likes and dislikes are not good on it. It has 28 likes. That's not a lot. And it already has 8 dislikes. So that's not good as well. So that just speaks to part of the problem. I mean, that needs to have thousands and thousands of views. I mean, like tens of thousands of views, really. That's what those should be having. And so this video, more people, ironically, are going to see what he said on this channel than on the eBay channel, which is crazy. So, I'm saying this, by the way, because I think things just need to, improve in terms of communication on eBay's end. And I want to see it improve. I want to see it get better. After that video aired, I did contact Jordan Sweetum, and I said to him, I said, I'm glad to see that he wrote. I said, but, I'm pretty connected into things and know when things are going on. And I had no clue that seller call was going on, like that video conference thing that was going on eBay. I said, so, is there a way you can more publicly advertise that, or let me know whenever the next one is going to be? And I didn't hear anything back. I figure he's busy. I sent him a follow-up, and I didn't hear anything back on that as well. So I'm not sure what the reason is on that, but again, I just think it speaks to part of the problem. I mean, it's just constructive criticism. I do think that the communication needs to improve, and that, speaking to something on that magnitude really should not come at the end of a video, at the 50-minute mark, right there snuck in at the end, because it doesn't give it the prominence that it deserves. I think the seriousness of the issue actually warrants it being a separate video, a separate statement, a separate letter, or something like that. Or at least if it's going to be combined with other stuff, that would be what you lead the meeting with. You said, listen, we're going to get into some fun stuff, but right now I want to start off by addressing a serious issue. And I want to let you know, as people who have, poured your heart and soul into eBay, that there will not be any repercussions for anyone who's trying to help the company through constructive criticism. And listen, I've said it many times, I'll say it again. I want eBay to do well. I do very well on eBay. I had a great day today on eBay. I was cha-chinging like crazy. So I want nothing but the best for the company. But at the same time, there's a lot of room for improvement. So hopefully that's what will come out of all this at the end, but we got to work ourselves through the process. So that's the update on the new charges, and also on the CEO speaking. So please let me know what your thoughts are down below. Make sure you give this video a like. Hopefully we get more than 28, and hopefully we get more views as well. I know we will, but anyway, pass it on to somebody else if you think someone else would be interested in it. Make sure you subscribe if you are new to the channel, and check me out this weekend. I'll definitely be having some more videos up for you as well. So with that, I'm going to sign off and enjoy the rest of the day. Look forward to seeing you next time, everyone. Take care.